The Miami Heat's tense situation with Jimmy Butler just took a drastic turn for the worst, and now the star wing has been suspended by the club. I'm Trevor Lane. This is the Basketball Bulletin. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel. Only right now, about 20% of you are actually subscribed to the channel, watching the video right now. The other 80%, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. All right, let's take a look here. So according to Shams Charania, the Miami Heat announced Jimmy Butler has been suspended for 7 games for multiple instances of conduct detrimental to the team over the course of the season, and particularly the last several weeks. Now, reportedly, there was a meeting between Jimmy Butler and the Heat when it was implied by the Miami Heat that Jimmy Butler was perhaps not playing his hardest, not giving his full effort on the court. And if you watch the most recent game, that certainly seemed to be the situation. Jimmy didn't even play in the fourth quarter of the Heat's last game against the Pacers. The Heat say they're open to listening to all Jimmy Butler offers now. Through his actions and statements, he has shown he no longer wants to be part of this team. Jimmy Butler and his representative have indicated that they wish to be traded. Therefore, we will listen to offers. Boy, first and foremost, talk about vindication for Shams Charania, who reported that Jimmy wanted to be traded like over a week ago, and then had Jimmy's agent fire back and call him out publicly and all of that, and we talked all about it. But now it's pretty clear, yeah, Jimmy wants out. Look, where there's smoke, there's fire. It was pretty obvious that Jimmy Butler wanted to go somewhere else. Over the summer, things got contentious. Pat Riley complaining about Jimmy Butler's lack of availability and ultimately saying that Jimmy shouldn't be talking so much when he's not available to play. And Jimmy took exception to that. Obviously, they did not come to terms on a contract extension. Jimmy hinting that he might want to play somewhere else, maybe Brooklyn, maybe Philadelphia, back when they had cap space. Basically, anybody that had cap space. Jimmy was saying, yeah, I've got eyes for you. And then Miami said, oh, we don't care. We're still not giving you a contract extension. And now that ultimately leads us to this point. The Miami Heat, just about a week ago, announcing we are not trading Jimmy Butler. That was the day after Christmas, the day after Shams' report that Butler wanted out of Miami came out. And then the Heat came out and said, we're not trading Jimmy Butler. But in part, that was because the Heat had seen the report saying that Jimmy was upset that the initial reporting earlier in December, look at this tangled web that we weave, earlier in December, saying that they were going to listen to trade offers for him. The Heat didn't do anything to dispel those rumors, which then puts Jimmy Butler in a tough spot when he's been asked questions. And so he was upset that they didn't dispel any of those rumors. And so then on December 26th, after Shams on December 25th says Jimmy wants out, the next day the Miami Heat say we're not trading him, basically trying to shut down all the rumors, which is what Jimmy was wanting earlier on, a few weeks prior. Anyway, look, this is a tangled web. This is a soap opera. This is drama. And this is Jimmy Butler, right? This is just kind of what comes with the Jimmy Butler experience. And it's clear that the Miami Heat, Jimmy Butler, they're done. This is it. Game over. They're done. If they find a way to move on, that's it. They're moving on. There's no question. This cannot continue. Miami needs to move him. He needs to be someplace else. He's a talented player, but this is clearly not working. The only thing this is going to do, this is going to derail the Heat's season, and this is going to continue to perpetuate with Jimmy Butler not being happy with the scenario. So Jimmy needs to be moved to a new team. The problem is, who wants him? Who wants him right now? Now, don't get me wrong. Talented player. And a lot of teams, if you said, do you want Jimmy Butler on your team, on the court? Do you want to go into the playoffs with Jimmy Butler on the roster? Most teams, they would say, hell yes. Yes, give us Jimmy Butler. Give us playoff Jimmy Butler. Let's go. But you look at his contract, that's a very different situation. 35-year-old Jimmy Butler, $48.8 million. There's a lot of teams that can't even get there salary-wise to make a move work for Jimmy, to get a deal done for Jimmy Butler, especially when we're looking at these teams that are right up against the second-tier apron or they're hard-capped at the first-tier apron. It's difficult to make that move work. So those teams that are in those situations, like the Golden State Warriors, first-tier hard-capped, don't have a lot of wiggle room there. They're going to have to stack up a lot of salary to go get Jimmy Butler. Can they do it? Yes. But are they going to send back stuff Miami wants? I know the Phoenix Suns have been out there. But guess what? The Miami Heat don't want Bradley Beal. It's as simple as that. The Heat don't want Bradley Beal. So why do we keep talking about the Suns? They don't want to take back any bad money. Guess what Bradley Beal is? Brad money. Bad money Bradley Beal. $50 million, $50.2 million, $53.6 million, $57.1 million as a player option, insult to injury on Bradley Beal's contract. Look, he's a talented player, But the Miami Heat don't make themselves any better by taking on his deal, especially since he'd still have a no trade clause, even if he were to waive it to go to the Miami Heat. And right now the rumor is he doesn't want to waive it. He likes it in Phoenix. Does Phoenix want Jimmy? Yes. Does Jimmy want Phoenix? Yes. But it doesn't matter because Miami doesn't want Beal and Beal doesn't want Miami. So where does he go? The one option is perhaps the Golden State Warriors, who now find themselves in an even better situation than they were previously. Because right now, the sticking point for a Warriors deal beyond just, do we really want to turn Andrew Wiggins into Jimmy Butler? Because you're probably going to have to just to stack up enough salary, $26.2 million this season for Andrew Wiggins. He's almost certainly going to have to be part of the deal unless you want to part with Draymond Green. They don't, nor should they. You've got Dennis Schroeder's expiring contract. You could stack him up if we're a day before the trade deadline. They can do it then. Can't do it right now. You got Gary Payton II's expiring deal. You've got Kevon Looney's expiring. They've got expirings they can stack up. But the big question, it's right here. It's Jonathan Kuminga. Do the Warriors want to part with Jonathan Kuminga? And right now, the rumor is that no, they don't. They don't want to put Kuminga in a Jimmy deal. And on top of that, the Miami Heat want Kuminga in a deal, and I don't blame them. Any deal with the Warriors, they want Jonathan Kuminga. The Warriors don't want to part with their young wing player. I think if the Miami Heat can get Jonathan Kuminga somehow into this deal, do it. Do it. Move on. Be happy that you're getting an exciting young wing player. Is he a perfect player? No, he's got a lot of growing to do. But that's the ideal outcome right now for Miami. It's you go to Golden State, you say, hey, Warriors, Jimmy's 35, but you guys have a window of winning right now. Your season's not going great. It started off great, but now not so much. You're struggling. Now you're what? The 9 seed in the Western Conference. Make this move. Get Jimmy right now. He's going to help drag you guys back up in the standings, give you a real shot with Steph and Draymond. Let's go. Let's make this happen. Give us Jonathan Kuminga. Again, if I'm the Warriors, I'm pushing back against it, but I think that's the Miami Heat's best bet to get out of this situation and get some real pieces moving forward. Otherwise, the Houston Rockets, they don't want Jimmy. They've got a young group that they're ready to build around. If Jimmy was 28, sure. But he's not. He's 35. He doesn't make sense for that team. The Dallas Mavericks, they'd have to gut their roster in order to go get him. What about the Oklahoma City Thunder? That's an interesting team, right? They could certainly use the veteran know-how in the postseason, but do they really want to break up the camaraderie right now? The best defense in the NBA. They are hellacious on that end of the floor. And guess what defense takes? It takes synergy. It takes that chemistry. You have to have 5 guys on a string. That's what the Thunder have. You don't want to mess with that chemistry too much, as talented as Jimmy is. So I really think the best shot the Miami Heat have of moving on and ending this Jimmy Butler nightmare is to get something done with the Golden State Warriors. The big question, though, is will Miami give in and do a deal without Jonathan Kuminga, or do a deal, or will Golden State give in and add Jonathan Kuminga to a deal? But that does seem to be the best bet right now for the Miami Heat to get out of this situation now with Jimmy Butler. Again, this is not going well for Miami, and this is going to hang over them. They need to get this done as quickly and as cleanly as they possibly can. It's time to cut ties. Send Jimmy packing. He's been a big part of Heat culture. He got them to 2 NBA finals. You got to respect him for what he did there in Miami, but it's beyond time. It's beyond time. This ain't Heat culture. That's not what this is. Jimmy being suspended by the Heat. He's talking about how there's no joy. He'd play for 29 other teams, all this. That's not Heat culture. You've got to get him off this roster and you can right the ship. The question is, how long can you wait to try to find the right deal? But you got to get it done by the trade deadline. And let's not forget the complicating factor for the incoming team is simple. Jimmy has said he wants to opt out and become a free agent on his deal. Do you want to be the team to pay Jimmy Butler on his next contract? Do you call his bluff and say, no, we'd prefer you pick up that option, $52 million, we'll pay you that next year, and then we'll see where things look after that when you're 36 years old, and we'll go from there? Or do you want to commit a 3-year deal, a 4-year deal to Jimmy Butler at 35 years old and pay him the kind of money that he wants? I think that would be a big problem in a trade as well, similar to the situation that we see right now with Brandon Ingram, much younger player, but similar thing. Teams don't want to be the team to pay him on his next contract. But boy, oh boy, the drama, the twists, the turns, Jimmy, Miami, break these two sides up. Divorce, it's time. It's needed. Let's make this happen. Miami needs to move on from Jimmy Butler. All of you out there watching the Basketball Bulletin right now, hit me in the comments. Let me know, where should Jimmy go? Do you agree with me? It's Warriors or bust? Or do you think another team could swoop in and grab Jimmy Butler for a playoff run? And do you think the Miami Heat are doing the right thing here by suspending him for 7 games? That's a lot of money that's going to cost Jimmy Butler in game checks. Do you think the Miami Heat are doing the right thing by suspending Jimmy and perhaps escalating this situation that much further? Let me know in the comments section. Don't forget, subscribe right here to the channel and go check out our latest video all about Charles Barkley making some insane comments about JJ Redick, the Lakers, and the current state of the NBA. Go check that out right now.